Hello, everyone. Mike Arnold, not quite here yet. Not quite there. There I am. Mike Arnold's here. I am here. We can get started. How's everyone doing? Welcome. Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. Hope everyone had a great, fantastic, and safe New Year's Eve and day. Welcome. Hey, waka. Welcome, Rule Boy. Let's see. Welcome, Jake. Let's see, Andre. What do you have? Welcome. Thanks. In part to your TA, I went all in on Tesla Friday, 30 minutes before the close today. Tesla announced 308,000 deliveries in Q4, and we talked about the gap up that they were most likely going to beat, and so we're just going to have to see what they do once it does gap up. Happy New Year, Shashadar. Is that, you're gonna have to help me pronounce that? Shashadar? I hope I didn't butcher it too bad. Thank you. Hey, Christoph. Happy New Year. Hey, Dan Jet. Go Tesla. All right. We're not doing a Tesla today. We're doing the market overview. Maybe we'll peek in on it. I'm glad I didn't butcher it. As I said before, I'm really bad with names. I'm just bad at pronouncing things. I'm good bad at pronunciating, everyone. There we go. So that's what you have. Pronunciating. It's Pronunciating Sunday. All right. Well, let's get started. Again, thank you for being here, everyone. And by the way, if you're new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing the bell, and hitting the like button so you know when we go live with these streams and what fun things we'll have coming to the channel in 2022. All right, I gotta make a little adjustment there. So S&P, another pullback on Friday. I take this at the end of the year with a grain of salt. We had a pretty big run up, and then there was just not much going on Friday. Could never get into bullish mode. Could never even start to get there. For Monday morning, or even the European session, I'm watching about 47.73 area back above here for bullish mode. See, it's this little resistance shelf. Then to really get going, I'm putting the first area right here is 47.73, but 47.76, that's also has to get above this prior support becoming resistance. So we really have a resistance area. Putting my bullish line in the sand a little in front of that, but you start getting up there. We have this minor clear path move all the way up to about 47.93 area. So do keep that in mind, because yes, we have some stopping points behind it, but you can start targeting upwards to 47.90 to 47.93 should we get some momentum going into this area tomorrow. Again, 47.76 area, start getting some key closes above that, especially on the shorter term, and then you retest and that level holds for support. That's going to be very key. If we start breaking down tomorrow, and we have some follow through with this bearish move. Again, Monday is, I know everything's supposed to be back to full swing tomorrow, but it's not going to be. Tuesday, we go back into full swing. Monday, some people will be back in their chairs or back in the office, depending on circumstances. Others, it's just still, some companies still have a holiday. Like my wife's company still has a holiday on Monday. So, and there's a lot of people who were rolling still back into town, wrapping things up. So Monday is going to be a little lighter just because it was New Year's over the weekend. But Tuesday we'll really be watching for what's going on. 4-hour rotation zone is flat. Yeah, and Waka says bank holiday here in UK tomorrow. I don't know if we have. I know everything trading wise is back to full swing, and that's all I care about. I could care less if banks are closed. although it will make a little lighter volume, especially in the European session with, as Waka Waka just pointed out, bank holiday in the UK. Let's see, though. Let's see. So your first little area of support is this 47.55 area. We drop below that, and the moving averages on the 4 hours have just gone flat, which happens in extended consolidation. So we're not really going to utilize that. We're going to jump out to this daily. We start getting down below 47.55. I'm watching about 47.40. UK, yeah. Is Germany cold? Is the DAX trading tomorrow? I haven't looked. It's just normally lighter, anyways. But I just watch the futures here in the U.S. anyways. For the most part, I will glance over at stuff. Let's see, 47.40 first level. Then I'm really keying off of for the major support area. If it does continue to sell off, normal day in Germany. Thanks, Christoph. Glad we have people from all over the world here. It saves me having to look stuff up. I was going to look it up after the live feed stream, but I don't like to look things up in the middle. But see, we have people. We have Waka Waka, UK site in UK. We have Christoph, Germany. So, thank you again for being here. All right, if we get below this 47.40, you can watch for some minor support about 47.29. Major support for me is coming in at 47.04 to 46.95. Overall, this is not just for tomorrow, but you don't want to get a close back below about this 37.5% retracement. That would be back below the daily rotation zone. And just in pure price action, taking things off, you can just look at this. You have this major resistance becoming support, so you close back into there, then it's essentially a failed breakout. Let's just take a look at that weekly too. So you see, just look at the weekly rotation zones, you can see how we've rotated up. 2 dips in the weekly rotation zone, but it held both times on a closing basis. It even held on a low basis this time. But what we really care about is the closing basis, just like this other rotation. Don't get freaked out if you have dips below because it's based off the close. So you really don't want it closing back in here because we have potential divergences. That's the other thing. We still have horrible breadth and we have potential divergences on the longer term chart. So I am poised for a bigger pullback at some point coming up. And I can't say when yet because I don't know. I do not know. We'll get the early warning shots are the market breadth and just, we're starting to roll over. But again, even if we push up again, if we hold here or even hold back at the daily rotation zone and rotate up, we haven't yet technically taken out that 4,800, but I think if we can push through there, you get 48.34 to 48.68 are key levels to the upside. And even if we hit those on a weekly basis, you'd still potentially be in a big divergence play. And this has been on a pretty substantial move. We have yet to have a decent pullback correction. And by way, I mean decent, these little pullbacks to the weekly rotation zone, although people freak out on them, these are still just normal trading. Let's see what we have. I'm leaning towards SPY, close to 500 and collapse for longer pullback. Let's jump to the SPY real quick. So you're saying 500. And again, I follow the futures much more than I do the spiders. I just wanted to see where the guide. So you have this 500, and we got the next harmonic right up there. So that could be interesting. Nice little major harmonic up there. Let's see where the minor ones go with the spies. 485. So yeah, we could easily get up there and then roll over. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, in 21 we didn't get bigger than 8% drop, and I mean, there's nothing substantial in terms of pullbacks. And I actually think when you have the pullbacks, it leads a lot more stability to the market instead of, these little pushes up because, as again, I've cited the book Ubiquity, which is, as you don't have pullbacks and corrections on a regular basis, you start leading to more and more unstable, and then eventually you sort of get the big massive avalanche, the big massive earthquake. So that's where I get very nervous with this. But you still have to trade with the trend, and we will get some warning signs before it rolls over. So you don't just go, oh, we've had a couple day drop, the top is in. No, we'll get some more warning signs. Just keep an eye back down to this 4,700 if you just want to line the sand with the bottom of the daily rotation zone. Nasdaq, see, we closed actually back into, we couldn't make new highs yet, and we closed back into, stuff's getting rotated or rotating out of tech more and more and more. So also keep that in mind. Do I have my stock rover up here? Let's see, I'm just looking at something here over on my other monitor. Hold on real quick. So, a little service I utilize called Stock Rover. Just looking at the sectors here. So you look at like the 5-day, we see, you see some real estate still strong, utilities, basic materials, but we look at the month, look at the consumer defensive and real estate and utilities and healthcare right there. We talked about healthcare last week, some utilities. Real estate's been on a tear, but consumer defensive, when people think things are going to slow down, you start getting stronger rotation into consumer defensive. So keep that in mind and look at technology over the last month back here. But then you go to the 3 month and you have technology all the way out. So you can start seeing the rotations sort of out of this technology. And we're even seeing it with the Nasdaq not taking the leadership position anymore. And actually ending up right at the top of the rotation zone. So, and what goes, yeah, it's inflation rotation and the suspecting slowdown coming up. So, yep, high dividend, high conviction killing growth. Yeah, and it's good if we get this high inflation cycle and then we have a major stagflation thing. It's going to really hurt some of these growth stocks, and we're starting to already see a rotation into that consumer defensive, the healthcare things, things that do better in inflationary slow growth times. Nasdaq really broke down at the end. Here was the key levels. We had 16,353 as he bounced off there, bounce, and breaking that down to 16,319. Had a potential double, but that's no longer based off that final push down. Just an update my chart at the end of Friday. I was tired. As I said before, I wish we didn't have the full trading day on New Year's Eve. Yeah, the Nasdaq's not looking pretty. Yeah, we'll take a look at gold too. So, Nasdaq is in bearish mode on the 1 hour. Where do I need? I'm looking to at least get it back above this 16,430 area before I'll start getting anywhere bullish. You also see we have the first cross rotation zone, so it could not hold. So the 4 hours in bearish mode. And again, we don't trade the crosses. It just helps keep us in a mindset. So daily is still holding bullish mode. Weekly is still holding bullish mode. You can see here. But this is a topping formation more so in the Nasdaq, and you could actually trade this as possibly a potential double. Before I state anything, let's measure it out. Let's measure it out because I don't want to misstate anything. Nope, you can't on the daily, or the weekly. I'd just be trading that as a topping formation without using the targets. And the key line, the sand is back down here for on a closing basis about 15,630. So keep that in mind on your charts. The first warning sign, though, is if we start getting a close below 16,200. and then we get a close below there. I'm watching. We have a clear path move that we could get back down to about this 15,670. 15,670 and 4 hours right at the 50 period exponential. But for tomorrow, we let's see. I'll take a look at that in a second. Waka waka. For tomorrow, if we start getting below about 16,300, I'm watching 16,270, 16,222 to the downside. We get below there, then it starts. See, we don't have a lot of pausing things. We're really, the next thing is about the 16,182 to about 16,167. And we drop below there, you have another clear path move down here with a target of about 15,978 to 16,000. Yeah, it's a flag pattern. This is what doesn't look like. What the problem is, I like flag patterns. You know, we're still in this sort of topping area before, so you can watch for the rotation back up. You know, you do have the flag pattern. You still do have this holding. That's why my key line in the sand, though, if we break below this or close below this 16,000, this bottom of the rotation zone, then it's that flag pattern's off. We've gone into a steeper decline. If we rotate back up, you can always watch for a break above that trend line. And I wish, come on. That's where it is roughly on the 4 hour, but that's where I'll start getting into even bullish mode about 16,430. Before that, then the trend line would be a key area of resistance. We get above there, and especially see one thing that these flags make, there's a lot of stopping points. So in order for me, even if we get above that trend line, I really needed to get back above about this 16,540 to really get into targeting the recent highs and then a break from those recent highs. It's just the Nasdaq couldn't even get above this key resistance area before and has rolled over. So that's why if I'm going to play an indice, it's going to pretty much be the S&P at this point. The Dow has a little mini 2-day pullback still. So 36,060 is my first little area I'll be watching. If we did drop below that, that would not be very bullish if we get below about 35,900, because then this prior resistance becoming support is broken and we're pulling back deeper into the rotation zone. But the key line in the sand I'm really watching is about this 37.5, because the rotation zone is going to come up to there about 35,800. So 35,800 is getting to a key line in the sand for me on there. We have this sloppy double, which did trigger. We pulled back, but it's still not invalidated. So these targets I'll still be utilizing for Monday. Again, I'll be watching 36,357, return to that area, then 36,390 and 36,423. Bullish mode, though, I'm going to be watching right around this first target area. We get above there, then I'll watch to make a run up around this 36,423 area. If we start breaking down, there's a lot of little support areas, but if you start getting below about 36,167, I'll watch for the 36,120 area. And then we now have a double cluster here, retracement and projection cluster right at 36,065. So that'll be a very key support level. We break below that. Minor would be 36,000 to 36,008, because we're also into this slippery slope right down here, which then I'd be really watching. You get through below that 36,000, I'm watching this 35,920 area. And that would take us, let's see where that 4 hour is. See, the 4 hour rotation zone's gone flat, so you can't really utilize that. But this, again, this cluster area right here, this 36,065. You also have the daily rotation zone. So that's going to be my major key. Especially if we do drop below it, I want to see where we close in relation to it. If we close back above, it could be another potential rotation move back up. If we close below it, I'm watching for the bigger pullback then. So that's on the Dow. Let's see what else we have. So looks like a bullish flag, but I just don't see a pop with the two tops plus a W. That's why I'm being very cautious on the Nasdaq. I think it means Kathy Woodstock's got hammered. What is art? I didn't look at it the last the last two trading days. I was too focused on other things, but ARC still daily rotation zone. I mean, ARC is just, it found some key support down in the cluster area, but it can't get any traction above the daily rotation zone. Still, that is a potential little double bottom though, but it has some work to do. Kathy Wood's stuff has some work to do. It also broke this very key level of support. This was major support right in here, now holding as resistance. So we start breaking down below 89.50 area. I'm going back down this 80.50 to 80.60 area as the next target. And then I'm back down to 70 below that. Let's take a look at some other stuff. Check in. Let's just take a look at the Russell real quick. Russell, you still have this potential valid double bottom, but we need that close above 22.80 essentially. So that's still in play, just basing right below that level. So this resistance is holding, but you get a pop above there. We could make a run, but I definitely need that on a closing basis. You break back down below about this 229, you're into definitely a move possibly back to about 2200. Let's see what else. Crude had this nice little run up, pulling back to the daily rotation zone. So I am watching to see, especially if this 74.40 area holds and we get a rotation back up, then retest the most recent highs. But key areas about 79.32 and 81.19. And you're getting the cross of the weekly rotation zone. So it's back into bullish mode on the weekly, bullish mode on the daily, neutral mode on the 4 hour. So I'm going to see if we can start getting the rotation back up. Also, if you get a close on a daily basis above Friday's high, it is a re-entry in the direction of the trend. It's actually a re-entry signal. Gold's really nice. This was great on Friday. So rounding up here, we had some key resistance up here, and then finally popping through. Nice little gap up on Friday, and then running right through this 1827, almost to this 1835 area. So based off of this, I'm going from the reverse to the forward harmonic at this point. And you can see where that lands, but that's giving me my next target of 1840, and then we're into this clear path move I talked about before. So my next major target, this would be minor, and my next major target, this would be actually move up stop, 1853. Silver also, silver still lagging a bit, but this is a nice little formation pattern. Just watch this 2350 area. We get through there, we're into a super advanced clear path, 23,770 minor, 24,025 to about 24,15 is my next key target area on silver. Oh, by the way, dollar index broke down, so you had this key support. Just keeping an eye on that on Friday too. We had this key support, you see this 95.88 area. On a closing basis, this closed right at it, then this little gap open moving up, but then we sliced through it down to the 50 period and this little other shelf right here. So the little rotation shelf. So you start getting below 95.54. Watch out, because we have just one little pausing bar in a super advanced clear path. which comes down to 94.54 area. So we could easily see a return to this area that we broke out from at right after the first week of November. So we could easily return to that. And look at this, close in the weekly rotation zone. So you could easily see the bottom of the weekly rotation zone in that 94.55 area pretty quickly if this starts to break down early in this trading year. Yeah, I have a lot higher price target on silver overall. Your price target for today is 2666. Okay. I think I'd make it 2665 or 2667. Oil gonna explode. I think oil's going higher. Let's see. Silver, my silver price target, I'm not as high as 80. I have stuff right around, my next major one is around 45. SDXY, I think I broke the 96 too, way too long. So that's about it. What else does anybody want to look at? What does the growth versus value chart look like? Well, I don't have that handy on this one right now on trading, unless there's something I could type in. I look at that on a different platform that I do not have handy right now. Let's just check in since Williams here. Boeing, still nothing. Still watching this. The double is still in play. Other than that, it's just key. If it starts getting below this 199 level, then I'm watching for it to return to a triple bottom on Boeing. What else? What else do we have? Any other stocks I missed? I don't think I said hi to you, 42 Lou. I think I missed that, even though you're not a stock. Abraham. So who's the big X? Oops, XPEV. Look at that. Okay. Ooh, look at those. Those harmonics worked out really nice. So you said XPEV. I can't read it. Delivery numbers almost 100,000, 263% year over year. So they put out really strong numbers, stopping at this 4961 harmonic, then coming up 5085 to 5111 and pausing there. So if it continues, we don't have a pausing bar yet on the daily. We do on the 4 hour. Your next targets up are 52.73 and 54. I'd say 54 to 54.32 are the key targets. And your bullish line, the sand now, is still the back of this 46.12. Don't want to see it close back below there. Else, this resistance becoming support that it broke out from in the daily rotation zone would be invalidated. What else do I have? BMY. Return to the 200 and pausing just below it. Yeah, if you get close back above 63.30 area, you get a closing. That could be a nice little breakout play. That could really be a nice play. Or let's see, I want to check that 4 hour. Don't love the 4 hour. But we get a pullback, especially if it doesn't break out in the next couple days and you get a pullback. 61.36 area right in the middle of the rotation zone with this resistance coming, support ledge holding, and then a rotation back up. Could be a nice rotation entry. Actually, we get a pullback there. It might trigger another setup also. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on Bristol Myers Squibb. Actually, I got to make a note. I've got to make a note. There we go. Made a note. I'm going to actually set up some alerts too. All right, thank you for BMY. Did not do my full healthcare scan yet. Let's see. ZN, you want the 10-year treasuries? Uh, do you ever look at the 10-year versus 2-year? I do. Bob Bob Iacchino actually does all this great chart. I'm gonna try to have him on this week, and he can go over. He builds a spreadsheet with all the yield curve stuff, and he can talk about that. I'll let him talk about that. That's his bailiwick. He's really good at that stuff. I was looking at this earlier, still caught in this horribly large consolidation pattern, and remember, uh, we still have this massive head and shoulders that has triggered. If we get below this 129.14 area, that will put us below the 200 week, and we've already triggered a massive pattern here, and it could not get above the weekly rotation zone and this prior support area becoming resistance. Well, that's a watch out below. We get down below this area. That's really what I am keeping an eye on with the 10-year. Let's see what else we got. We can look at the VIX, which we had that little pop with the minor sell-off, and it's just back down. I mean, the only thing is if we get really back above 20 at this point, then I'll start watching for more of a substantial pullback in the VIX. So let's see. I hate these ultra VIX short-term futures. I really don't like this because of the way they have to do their hedging. It's got a natural major downward bias to it. And I mean, if you get a nice pop, get the timing right, it's something you don't, it'll just eat you alive unless you get the timing right. I really don't like these at all because you can't even properly analyze them due to the natural downward bias that they have. That's why I pretty much steer clear. You can only do it where I will only look at these is when we start getting like a big sell off, and if you could jump in this just for a day trade, and just take advantage of a quick little run up. That's the only thing I ever look at those for. Baba, I don't think anything's changed since we looked at this last. Yeah, just basing. You have this day triggered a super aggressive buy, but again, I want it to get above the 126.58 area. And you do still have this potential little double in play. Now, if it runs back down again, down to, this 112 area, that potential doubles off the table. Tesla, which we will do again tomorrow afternoon. But Tesla, I'm expecting, the gap up. I'm expecting a big gap up, but I want to see how it reacts at this 110 to 120 area. That's going to be key. So we gap up, unless we gap above 120, which I'd be shocked. I mean, would we see people calling out? What was this? People think on Twitter Tesla's going to 3K, some 1300 to. So they're. Yeah, that's why I don't pay attention to that. We're not going to 1300 tomorrow. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's just utterly absurd. I think we closed what 1056, and it's been in bullish mode, still holding the daily rotation zone. So again, I'm watching that first. I would not be surprised if we opened around, if super bullish around 1100. It would be mind blowing to me if we got opened above 1120. But then if we opened above 1120, I'd be watching that 1110 to see how that held, and then to see how strong it did that gap fill. That's going to be my whole thing tomorrow with Tesla. And since the trading is so thin in the pre-market, I think you will get so many people rushing in based off those delivery numbers. it will get pushed up pretty substantially. What else do we have? Oh, Henry's quoting Henry Rollins. Scar tissue is stronger than regular tissue. Realize the strength and move on. I'm huge Henry Rollins fan. Seen him multiple times. Was a huge Black Flag fan growing up. And then the Rollins band. And I love Henry Rollins' spoken word. I've seen him do spoken word multiple times. Huge Henry Rollins fan. Growing up, had my mohawk. So I was one of those rabble rousers in the 80s. So I don't think we're going to gap to 1150. That would be a monster gap. I mean, you have some of these other gaps, like this one. What would it close at? What would it close at? 909.68, and then opened at 1024. You could. So what's that? Somebody do the math for me. Let's see. Let's just round a quote. A 909, so 910 to the opening price at 1024. So yeah, I guess you could. I mean, theoretically, I guess we could gap open to 1150. It's got some work to do, though. I mean, the only thing it's got going for it is it'll be super thin markets. Super thin markets in the morning session. So that could push it higher than I think. But that's where I want to see it. You walk, expect, sell the news. I want to see how it reacts once those delivery numbers are out of the way. Quick glance at MU. Sure, Micron. Oops. Here we go. MU. Micron still reacting to that, pulling back. I glanced at that on Friday. Just in the rotation zone. I'm really watching down towards this 92 area. And then 91.50, you get a close below 91.50. I start watching for the bigger pullback just because it's really extended on the weekly. We had this big monster run up week. It could not get a close above these candle body highs at about this 95.25 area. And so I'm watching. Now, if it just starts moving sideways and bases around here and lets this lets some more of the 4 hour catch up, and then we get a rotation up, then it's another buy signal for me. I'd rather see a pullback, though. My preference would be a pullback and then a triggered buy signal with this. So where's the SMH? The semiconductor. See, we had this worried me. I was just watching. So we got a new key close right here. You see it's been rejected on the weekly. We came back to the weekly rotation zone, came up and rejected it. I did not like this price action where you got this new high close and then immediately got rejected from it. We started breaking back below about 305.50. I'm going to start watching for the bigger pullbacks in a lot of the semis. And that would include Micron. Yeah, we'll see. A gap above 120 would be ridiculous. Who knows? It's Tesla. Bring the Mohawk back. My wife would kill me. Now it's just no hair, Mike. So that's about. I'm not seeing anything else. Did I miss something? Just keep an eye on this semis. I did not like this. Especially, see, I wouldn't have even minded a pullback around this 311.50 area, and then at least we could have got a rotation up, but you get a close below there, and then, I mean, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt still because it was thinner trading Thursday and Friday. That's why I'm still focused on that rotation zone, but if we start breaking below there, not good. Not good for the semis. Because also then you have this. Now this looks like a potential double top. We'll just go with this side targets for now. That even though this is a little sloppy in here, you'll still use it on a weekly basis. Yep. So yeah, you could easily get a pullback back down to this 265 area easily. So I would not ignore that. The first warning sign would be if we broke below this again, the 305.50. All right. I don't see anything else, so I think we'll leave it at that. We covered a lot of markets today. Thank you for joining me on this Sunday afternoon. We will have our normal 2 live streams tomorrow, market overview at 3:30 Central, and then Tesla at 4:30. I was thinking of changing the Tesla thing this year and just to maybe just not just Tesla, but make it an EV segment. Because, we had a lot of people who watch NIO, Rivian, Xpeng, let me know what you think. Let me know again what you think about. We could always lead off with Tesla, but then rounding it out with some of the other EVs. So I'm considering that for the launching that, starting to do that. Lucid will win the race. Let's do EV sector. So yeah, I mean, because we could run through things. Like we could glance at these kind of things because there'll be plays in some of these too. Like Lucid, it starts getting above 41 again, could be a play. Breaks down below 35.50 could also be a play to the short side. How do you spell? Why did I just forget? There it is. Rivian. Didn't quite make it to that gap fill. But Rivian, I mean, their valuations are also ridiculous on these. But you get a move above this 108 area. It could be an interesting little upside play. Don't have any longer term signals on that. So I'm thinking of doing this kind of thing. We can tie these in at the end of every day, after we go over Tesla. Yeah, broader audience, so that would be good. Whether it's one EV or all of them. So yeah, we could just roll some of these in, and then we don't have to do XPeng and everything else and NIO in the market overview. We could just roll that into the EV segment. Oh. Hey, Waka Waka, is Tesla overvalued? All it's way overvalued. I don't trade it technically. Because, yeah, it's not worth this kind of market cap. What is its market cap right now? 93.35 billion. And how many cars have they? Tesla's super overvalued. How many cars has Rivian delivered so far? I mean, they're going to deliver cars this year, but you got a 93 billion market cap. And what's Ford's, by the way? It's also going to deliver with the electric F-150. It's the boy, I just blanked. The Mustang electric. They're going to deliver a fair amount of cars this year, just in electrics, and its market cap is 83. Plus, they have the whole, I mean, the ICE segment. So it's absurd that you're doing Rivian over that. And what's Lucid's market cap? Oh, geez. 62 billion. It's sort of fun to look at these, though. So we'll have some fun with it. Yeah, Rivian, Tesla. So I'm looking forward to 2022. It will kill the cult. It will be interesting. So I think maybe we'll do this. Maybe we'll do this. We'll roll it into from the Tesla thing to just an EV thing. And we'll hit Tesla first. How about that? Thanks for all the feedback. I will talk to everyone later. Bye for now.